Hello and welcome to the Mindful Zone. I'm so grateful that you have chosen to spend this time with me today. Together, we're going to embark on an hour-long journey, a gentle exploration of how embracing life's challenges can transform not only our perspective, but also our entire way of being. This isn't about ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it's about learning to face difficulties with grace, wisdom, and compassion. Tools inspired by Buddhism, meditation, and mindfulness practices. Whether you're here because you're feeling overwhelmed, curious about these ancient teachings, or simply looking for ways to improve your well-being, know that you've come to the right place. This video is crafted to be warm, accessible, and deeply practical. You don't need any prior experience with meditation or spirituality, just an open heart and a willingness to listen. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to feel like we're constantly fighting against something: time, stress, uncertainty, even ourselves. But what if there was another way? What if instead of resisting life's inevitable ups and downs, we could learn to flow with them? That's exactly what we'll uncover together. How to accept difficult moments as part of the human experience while using mindfulness and meditation to find peace within them. Throughout this video, I'll guide you through 10 chapters, each offering insights and tools you can apply immediately. We'll start by understanding suffering, not as something to fear, but as a natural aspect of existence. From there, we'll dive into acceptance, self-compassion, letting go, and more. Along the way, I'll share stories, exercises, and reflections to help you integrate these ideas into your daily life. Before we move forward, let's take a moment to settle into this space. If you're comfortable, close your eyes or soften your gaze and bring your attention to your breath. Feel the air entering your body, filling your lungs, and then leaving again. Notice how effortless it feels. Allow yourself to arrive fully in this moment. There's nowhere else you need to be. Nothing else you need to do. Just breathe. As we begin, remember that this is your time. It's okay to pause, reflect, or revisit sections later. Growth happens at its own pace, and there's no rush. So, whether you're sitting alone in your room, commuting, or taking a quiet break during a busy day, know that you are exactly where you're meant to be. Let's step lightly onto this path together. With every word, my hope is that you'll feel supported, encouraged, and perhaps even inspired to see life's challenges in a new light. Are you ready? Let's begin. Chapter 1: Understanding Suffering as Part of Life. One of the most profound teachings in Buddhism revolves around the concept of suffering, or dukkha as it's known in Pali, the ancient language of many Buddhist texts. At first glance, this might seem like a heavy or even discouraging topic. After all, who wants to dwell on suffering? But here's the thing: understanding suffering and accepting it as part of life is one of the most empowering steps we can take toward creating peace and resilience within ourselves. Let's start by unpacking what dukkha really means. In its simplest form, dukkha refers to the dissatisfaction, unease, or discomfort that arises from life's impermanent and unpredictable nature. It's not just about big, dramatic hardships like loss or illness. It's also about the small, everyday struggles. Think about it. Have you ever felt frustrated because your plans didn't work out? Or maybe you've experienced a sense of emptiness after achieving something you thought would bring lasting happiness. These moments are forms of dukkha. They remind us that life is constantly changing, and clinging to permanence or control is ultimately futile. Now, before you think this sounds pessimistic, let me clarify. Recognizing suffering isn't meant to make us feel hopeless. Quite the opposite. It's meant to awaken us. When we acknowledge that challenges are an inherent part of existence, we stop wasting energy resisting them. Instead, we begin to see them for what they truly are: opportunities for growth, wisdom, and transformation. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Can you recall a time when you faced a challenge that seemed unbearable at first, but later taught you something valuable? Perhaps it was a failed relationship that helped you understand yourself better. Or maybe it was a career setback that pushed you to discover new strength. These experiences show us that pain and growth often go hand in hand. Without darkness, we wouldn't appreciate light. Without struggle, we wouldn't recognize resilience. Buddhism teaches us that suffering arises from three main sources: change, conditioned states, and ignorance. Let's break these down briefly so you can see how they play out in your daily life. First, there's suffering caused by change. Everything in life is transient: relationships, jobs, emotions, even our bodies. When we cling to things as if they'll last forever, we set ourselves up for disappointment. For example, imagine you're enjoying a perfect vacation. The weather is beautiful, the food is delicious, and you feel completely relaxed. But deep down, you know this won't last. If you resist the fact that vacations end, you might feel anxious or sad when it's time to leave. However, if you embrace the temporary nature of the experience, you can savor every moment without attachment. Next, there's suffering caused by conditioned states. This refers to the idea that everything arises due to causes and conditions. Nothing exists independently. Everything is interconnected. For instance, your mood today might depend on factors like how much sleep you got last night, whether you ate well, or how a conversation went earlier. Recognizing this interdependence helps us understand why blaming ourselves or others for our circumstances isn't always helpful. There's usually a web of influences at play. Finally, there's suffering caused by ignorance or misunderstanding the true nature of reality. Often we mistake fleeting pleasures for lasting happiness. We chase external validation, material possessions or achievements, believing they'll fulfill us. Yet when we finally attain them, the satisfaction fades quickly, leaving us craving more. This cycle of desire and disappointment keeps us trapped in a state of dissatisfaction. So, how do we begin to shift our perspective? How do we move from seeing suffering as something to avoid to viewing it as a teacher? The answer lies in mindfulness, the practice of paying attention to the present moment with curiosity and openness. Mindfulness allows us to observe our thoughts, feelings, and experiences without judgment. Instead of labeling something as good or bad, we simply notice it for what it is. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic on your way to an important meeting. Your initial reaction might be frustration. Why does this always happen to me? But if you pause and bring mindfulness into the situation, you might notice other details. Maybe you hear birds singing outside your car window. Maybe you feel grateful for a few extra minutes to breathe and prepare. By shifting your focus, you transform a potentially stressful moment into one of presence and awareness. Another powerful tool is reframing. Reframing means looking at a situation through a different lens. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" For instance, if you lose your job unexpectedly, you could view it as a failure, or you could see it as an opportunity to explore new possibilities, develop skills, or pursue passions you've neglected. Of course, none of this is easy. Accepting suffering doesn't mean pretending it doesn't hurt. It's okay to feel anger, sadness, or fear when life gets tough. These emotions are valid and human. What matters is how we respond to them. Do we let them consume us, or do we use them as stepping stones toward greater understanding? To help you connect with this teaching, let's do a short reflection exercise together. Find a comfortable position, whether sitting upright or lying down, and close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. Take a few slow, deep breaths. Now bring to mind a recent challenge you've faced. It could be anything: a disagreement with a loved one, a missed deadline, or even a minor inconvenience like spilling coffee on your shirt. Once you've identified the situation, ask yourself these questions silently. What emotions did I feel during this experience? Did I resist or try to push those emotions away? Is there anything I can learn from this moment now that some time has passed. There's no need to overanalyze or judge your answers. Simply allow yourself to sit with whatever comes up. Remember, the goal isn't to erase pain. It's to meet it with kindness and curiosity. As we wrap up this chapter, I want to leave you with a simple yet profound reminder. Suffering is universal. It connects us to every other human being on this planet. You are not alone in your struggles. And while we may not be able to control what happens to us, we can choose how we relate to it. By embracing life's challenges with mindfulness and compassion, we open ourselves to a deeper sense of peace and purpose. In the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into the power of acceptance, how letting go of resistance can free us from unnecessary suffering. Until then, take a moment to honor where you are right now. Breathe deeply. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be. Chapter 2. The Power of Acceptance. One of the most transformative practices we can cultivate is acceptance. Now, before we dive deeper, let's clarify what acceptance truly means in this context. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or resigning yourself to your circumstances. It's not about passively tolerating pain or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. Instead, acceptance is about acknowledging reality exactly as it is, without resistance or judgment. It's about saying, this is where I am right now, and allowing that truth to exist without fighting it. Why does this matter so much? Because resistance amplifies suffering. When we resist what is, whether it's an emotion, a situation, or even a thought, we create tension within ourselves. Think about it. Have you ever tried to ignore feelings of sadness or frustration, only to find they lingered longer than expected? Or maybe you've pushed away thoughts of failure, only to have them resurface with even greater intensity. Resistance keeps us stuck in a loop of struggle, but acceptance opens the door to freedom. In mindfulness and Buddhism, acceptance is often described as making friends with what is. This doesn't mean liking everything that happens to us. It means meeting life on its own terms. Life, after all, is unpredictable. Plans fall through, people disappoint us. We experience loss, change, and uncertainty. These are universal truths, but our reaction to them shapes how deeply they affect us. By accepting what we cannot control, we conserve energy for what truly matters, responding with wisdom and compassion. Let me share a personal story to illustrate this point. A few years ago, I went through a period of intense stress at work. Deadlines were piling up, expectations felt overwhelming, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't seem to catch up. At first, my instinct was to push harder, to resist the discomfort by working longer hours, ignoring my needs, and trying to force solutions. But the more I resisted, the worse I felt. I became irritable, exhausted, and disconnected from those around me. Then one day I stumbled upon a simple yet profound teaching. What you resist persists. Those 4 words hit me like a thunderclap. I realized that my resistance to the situation wasn't helping, it was making things worse. So I decided to experiment with acceptance. Instead of fighting the overwhelm, I sat quietly and acknowledged it. I said to myself, I feel overwhelmed. That's okay. This is part of being human. To my surprise, simply naming the feeling and allowing it to exist softened its grip on me. From that place of calm, I was able to approach my tasks with clarity and focus. Not because the workload had changed, but because my relationship to it had shifted. This example highlights an important truth. Acceptance doesn't change external circumstances, but it transforms how we experience them internally. When we stop resisting, we create space for new possibilities to emerge. Now, let's explore some practical ways to cultivate acceptance in your daily life. The first step is awareness. Often we resist experiences unconsciously. We react automatically to discomfort without realizing it. Mindfulness helps us break this pattern by bringing conscious attention to the present moment. Whenever you notice yourself resisting something, whether it's a difficult emotion, a challenging situation, or even physical sensations, pause and observe. Ask yourself, what am I resisting right now? How does it feel in my body? Am I holding tension in my shoulders? Is my jaw clenched? Simply noticing these details creates distance between you and the resistance, giving you a chance to respond differently. Another powerful tool is self-talk. Our inner dialogue plays a huge role in shaping our experience. If you're constantly telling yourself, this shouldn't be happening, or I can't handle this, you reinforce resistance. But if you shift to phrases like, this is hard, but I'm here for it, or I trust myself to navigate this, you begin to soften your stance. Language has immense power, and choosing words that align with acceptance can make a world of difference. A third practice is visualization. Imagine standing in a river. If you fight against the current, you exhaust yourself. But if you relax and flow with it, you conserve energy and find balance. Apply this metaphor to your challenges. Picture yourself surrendering to the natural flow of life, trusting that you'll land where you're meant to be. Visualization exercises like this can help rewire your mindset over time. Of course, acceptance isn't always easy. Some situations cut deep. They touch wounds we've carried for years. Maybe it's the end of a relationship, the loss of a loved one, or a chronic illness. In moments like these, acceptance requires patience and gentleness. You don't have to rush the process. Allow yourself to grieve, rage, or cry if you need to. There's no timeline for healing. What's important is that you show up for yourself with kindness, even when it feels impossible. To guide you further, let's do a short guided exercise together. Find a comfortable position, sitting upright or lying down, and close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. Take a few slow, deep breaths. Now bring to mind a current challenge you're facing. It could be anything: a conflict with a friend, financial stress, health concerns, or simply feeling overwhelmed by life. Once you've identified the situation, silently repeat these phrases to yourself. This is how things are right now. I don't have to like it, but I can accept it. I am strong enough to face this. Feel free to adapt these words however they resonate with you. The key is to acknowledge the reality of the situation while affirming your capacity to meet it with courage and grace. Stay with this practice for a few minutes, breathing deeply and allowing any emotions that arise to simply be there. As you engage in this exercise, remember that acceptance isn't a one-time event. It's a continuous practice. Some days will feel easier than others, and that's perfectly normal. What matters is showing up consistently, even in small ways. Over time, you'll notice subtle shifts. You might find yourself reacting less impulsively to triggers, feeling less weighed down by negative emotions, or approaching challenges with greater ease. It's also worth noting that acceptance doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior in yourself or others. If someone treats you unfairly, it's important to set boundaries and advocate for your well-being. Acceptance in this context means acknowledging the reality of the situation without letting anger or resentment consume you. It empowers you to respond skillfully rather than reactively. Finally, let's talk about the ripple effect of acceptance. When you embrace life as it is, you inspire those around you to do the same. Your willingness to face difficulties with openness and grace creates a safe space for others to express their struggles. Acceptance fosters connection, empathy, and understanding, all qualities that enrich our relationships and communities. Before we move on to the next chapter, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned so far. How does the idea of acceptance resonate with you? Can you think of a recent situation where practicing acceptance might have made a difference? Remember, every step you take toward embracing life's challenges brings you closer to peace and resilience. In the next chapter, we'll explore the importance of cultivating compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. Until then, breathe deeply, Trust that you are capable of navigating whatever comes your way. Chapter 3: Cultivating Compassion for Yourself. One of the most overlooked yet essential practices for well-being is self-compassion. It's ironic, isn't it? We often extend kindness, patience, and understanding to others, but when it comes to ourselves, we can be harsh critics. Think about it. How many times have you berated yourself for making a mistake, or dismissed your own needs because you felt unworthy of care? This tendency to neglect ourselves while caring for others is all too common, but it's also unsustainable. True healing and growth begin with turning that same compassion inward. In Buddhism, compassion, karuna, is considered one of the highest virtues. It's not just about feeling sorry for someone or offering sympathy, it's about recognizing suffering, both in ourselves and others, and responding with genuine care and action. Self-compassion, then, is the foundation of this practice. Without it, our ability to show compassion to others becomes strained and inauthentic. After all, how can we give what we haven't first nurtured within ourselves? Let's start by exploring why self-compassion matters so much. Research shows that people who practice self-compassion tend to experience lower levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. They're also more resilient in the face of challenges and more likely to take risks that lead to personal growth. Why? Because self-compassion fosters a sense of safety and belonging within ourselves. When we treat ourselves kindly, we create an internal environment where mistakes are seen as opportunities to learn rather than failures to punish. But here's the catch: self-compassion doesn't come naturally to everyone. Many of us grew up hearing messages like, "Toughen up," or "Don't be selfish." Society often rewards productivity over self-care, leaving little room for vulnerability. As a result, we may equate self-compassion with weakness or indulgence. But nothing could be further from the truth. Self-compassion is a form of strength. It requires courage to face our pain without judgment and to offer ourselves the same love we'd give to a dear friend. To help you cultivate self-compassion, let's break it down into 3 key components inspired by Dr. Kristin Neff's groundbreaking work on the subject: mindfulness, common humanity, and self-kindness. These elements work together to create a holistic approach to treating ourselves with care and respect. Mindfulness. The first component is mindfulness, the ability to observe our thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them. When we're struggling, it's easy to fall into extremes. We might either suppress our feelings, "I shouldn't feel this way," or exaggerate them, "This is unbearable." Neither approach serves us well. Instead, mindfulness invites us to acknowledge our pain with curiosity and openness. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you might say to yourself, I notice I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. That's okay. This is part of being human." By naming the emotion and allowing it to exist, you reduce its intensity and create space for healing. Common humanity. The second component is recognizing that suffering is universal. Often when we're in pain, we feel isolated, as though no one else could possibly understand what we're going through. But the truth is, everyone experiences hardship at some point. You are not alone. This realization helps dissolve feelings of shame or inadequacy. Instead of thinking, "Why me?" try reminding yourself, this is hard and it's something many people go through. Connecting with this shared human experience reminds us that imperfection is not a flaw, it's simply part of life. Self-kindness. Finally, there's self-kindness, the active act of treating ourselves with warmth and care. This might involve speaking gently to yourself, taking time to rest, or doing something that brings you joy. Self-kindness counters the inner critic, the voice that tells us we're never good enough. Every time you challenge that voice and replace it with supportive words, you strengthen your capacity for self-compassion. Now, let's put these principles into practice. Imagine you've had a tough day. You made a mistake at work, snapped at a loved one, or simply felt like you weren't living up to your expectations. How would you typically respond? Would you beat yourself up, replaying the moment over and over in your mind? Or would you offer yourself grace and understanding? Here's a simple exercise to guide you towards self-compassion. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Now bring to mind a recent situation where you judged yourself harshly. Perhaps you said something awkward during a conversation, forgot an important task, or felt insecure about your appearance. Whatever it is, allow yourself to fully recall the moment without resistance. Once you've brought it to mind, silently repeat these phrases to yourself. May I forgive myself for this moment? May I be kind to myself as I navigate this challenge? May I remember that I am worthy of love and care? Feel free to adapt these phrases to suit your needs. The goal is to infuse the experience with compassion, replacing self-criticism with warmth and encouragement. Stay with this practice for several minutes, breathing deeply and allowing any emotions that arise to flow through you. Another powerful tool for cultivating self-compassion is journaling. Writing allows us to process our thoughts and emotions in a safe, private space. Try setting aside 5 minutes each day to write about your struggles, not to analyze or fix them, but to validate your experience. For instance, you might write, "Today was hard. I felt frustrated because insert reason. That's okay, I'm doing my best and that's enough." Over time, this habit reinforces a mindset of self-acceptance and care. It's also helpful to visualize yourself as someone you deeply care about. Picture a close friend or family member coming to you with the same problem you're facing. What would you say to them? Would you tell them they're a failure? Or would you listen patiently and reassure them that they'll get through it? Now imagine turning that same level of kindness toward yourself. Speak to yourself as you would to that loved one. Of course, practicing self-compassion doesn't mean ignoring areas where growth is needed. Accountability is still important. It's just approached differently. Instead of punishing yourself for mistakes, ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? Framing challenges as opportunities for development keeps you motivated without falling into self-criticism. As you deepen your practice of self-compassion, you'll likely notice subtle shifts in how you relate to yourself and others. You might become less reactive, more patient, and more forgiving, not only toward yourself but also toward those around you. Compassion has a ripple effect. When you nurture it within yourself, it naturally extends outward. Before we conclude this chapter, let's reflect on a profound teaching from Buddhism known as metta, or loving-kindness meditation. Metta involves directing wishes of goodwill and happiness to ourselves and others. To integrate this practice into your daily routine, try repeating these traditional phrases each morning. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. Afterward, expand the scope of your intentions by including others. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. You can direct these wishes to specific individuals, family members, friends, even strangers, or send them universally to all beings. This practice cultivates a sense of interconnectedness and reminds us that compassion begins with ourselves. In closing, remember that self-compassion is a journey, not a destination. Some days will feel easier than others, and that's perfectly okay. Be patient with yourself as you explore this path. Each step you take toward embracing your humanity brings you closer to wholeness and peace. In the next chapter, we'll delve into the art of letting go, a practice that complements self-compassion beautifully by helping us release attachments to outcomes, expectations, and past hurts. Until then, breathe deeply, trust that you deserve the same love and care you so freely give to others. Chapter 4. The Art of Letting Go. Letting go is one of life's most profound yet challenging lessons. It's a practice that touches every aspect of our existence, our relationships, our goals, our emotions, even our sense of identity. Yet, despite its importance, many of us resist it fiercely. Why? Because letting go feels like losing control. It asks us to loosen our grip on things we've worked so hard to hold on to. Expectations, outcomes, people, memories, and dreams. But here's the paradox. The tighter we cling, the more we suffer. True freedom comes not from holding on, but from releasing what no longer serves us. In Buddhism, this concept is deeply intertwined with the teachings of impermanence, anicca. Everything in life is transient. Nothing lasts forever. Seasons change, friendships evolve, careers shift, and bodies age. Recognizing this truth doesn't mean we stop caring about the things we love. Rather, it helps us appreciate them fully while they're here and accept their inevitable passing when the time comes. Clinging to permanence creates suffering because it sets us up for disappointment. Letting go, on the other hand, allows us to flow with life's natural rhythms. Let me share an analogy to illustrate this idea. Imagine standing by the ocean, holding a handful of sand. If you try to keep the grains tightly clenched in your fist, they'll slip through your fingers faster than if you relaxed your palm and allowed them to rest lightly. Life works the same way. When we fight against change or cling desperately to what we have, we lose far more than we gain. But when we soften our grip, we create space for new possibilities to emerge. Now let's explore how letting go can transform different aspects of our lives. Letting go of expectations. Expectations are tricky. On one hand, they give us direction. They motivate us to strive for better outcomes and push beyond our limits. On the other hand, they often set us up for frustration when reality doesn't align with our vision. Whether it's expecting a promotion at work, anticipating a perfect holiday, or hoping for someone else to behave a certain way, unmet expectations can leave us feeling disappointed and resentful. The key is to distinguish between healthy aspirations and rigid expectations. Healthy aspirations guide us without dictating specific outcomes. For example, instead of saying, "I must get promoted this year," you might reframe it as, "I will do my best and trust that opportunities will come in their own time." This subtle shift reduces attachment to results and opens you up to unexpected blessings along the way. To practice letting go of expectations, try this simple exercise. Whenever you feel tension building around a particular outcome, pause and ask yourself, what am I really seeking here? Often beneath the surface, desire lies a deeper need for connection, security, validation, or growth. By focusing on the underlying need rather than the specific form it takes, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Letting go of past hurts. Another area where letting go proves transformative is in releasing past hurts. Holding on to grudges, regrets, or unresolved pain keeps us tethered to the past, preventing us from fully living in the present. It's like carrying heavy baggage everywhere you go. You may think it protects you from future harm, but in reality, it weighs you down and limits your freedom. Forgiveness plays a crucial role in this process, not necessarily forgiving others for their actions, but forgiving yourself for allowing those actions to define you. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior or pretending it didn't happen. Instead, it means choosing to release the emotional charge associated with the memory so you can move forward. Here's a guided visualization to help you release past hurts. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and take several slow, deep breaths. Now, bring to mind a person or situation that still causes you pain. Notice any emotions that arise, anger, sadness, betrayal, and allow yourself to feel them without judgment. Once you've acknowledged these feelings, imagine placing them into a small boat floating on calm waters. Watch as the boat drifts farther and farther away until it disappears over the horizon. With each passing moment, feel the weight lifting from your heart. Silently repeat to yourself, "I release this burden. I choose peace over pain. I am free to begin anew." Stay with this visualization for several minutes, breathing deeply and embracing the lightness that follows. Letting go of attachments. Attachment is another source of suffering that Buddhism addresses directly. In this context, attachment doesn't just refer to material possessions. It encompasses anything we cling to out of fear of loss. This could include relationships, roles, identities, habits, or even beliefs. While attachments provide temporary comfort, they ultimately limit our growth by keeping us bound to familiar patterns. For instance, consider a job that no longer fulfills you but offers financial stability. You might stay in the position out of fear of uncertainty, sacrificing your happiness in the process. Or perhaps you're attached to a relationship that has run its course, refusing to let go because it represents a part of who you were. These attachments prevent us from stepping into the unknown, where true transformation awaits. To release attachments, start by identifying areas of your life where you feel stuck. Ask yourself, what am I clinging to out of fear? What would happen if I let it go? Then imagine placing that attachment gently into the stream of life, trusting that whatever replaces it will serve your highest good. Remember, letting go doesn't mean abandoning responsibility. It means surrendering the illusion of control and opening yourself to infinite possibilities. Practical tools for letting go. While the philosophy of letting go is powerful, practical tools make it accessible in daily life. Here are a few techniques you can incorporate into your routine. Mindful breathing. Whenever you notice resistance arising, whether it's frustration, anxiety, or longing, pause and focus on your breath. Inhale deeply through your nose, filling your lungs completely. Exhale slowly through your mouth, imagining you're releasing tension with each breath. Repeat this cycle several times, using your breath as an anchor to the present moment. Gratitude. Practice shifting your focus from what you lack to what you already have fosters a mindset of abundance. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big or dramatic. Even small joys, like a warm cup of tea or a kind word from a stranger, count. Gratitude reminds us that life is rich with blessings, even amidst challenges. Minimalism. Simplifying your physical environment can support emotional clarity. Declutter your home, workspace, or digital devices, letting go of items you no longer use or need. As you clear away excess, notice how much lighter and freer you feel. Journaling. Writing provides a safe outlet for processing emotions and gaining perspective. Try answering prompts like, what am I holding on to that no longer serves me? How would my life change if I released this? What does freedom look like for me? Affirmations. Positive affirmations reinforce a mindset of release and renewal. Examples include, I trust the flow of life. I am open to receiving what I truly need. I release what no longer aligns with my highest good. Embracing imperfection. Finally, remember that letting go isn't about achieving perfection, it's about progress. Some days you'll find it easier to release attachments and expectations. Other days, old patterns will resurface, and that's okay. Growth happens incrementally, not overnight. Celebrate every step you take toward greater freedom, knowing that each effort contributes to lasting change. Before we conclude this chapter, let's reflect on a beautiful teaching from Zen Buddhism. You cannot step into the same river twice. Just as water flows continuously, shaping the landscape it passes through, life moves forward, creating endless opportunities for renewal. By embracing the art of letting go, you align yourself with this eternal flow, finding peace in the ever-changing nature of existence. In the next chapter, we'll explore mindful breathing, a foundational practice for cultivating calm and presence in everyday life. Until then, breathe deeply. Trust that you are capable of releasing what no longer serves you and welcoming what truly matters. Chapter 5. Mindful Breathing for Calm. Breath is life. It's the thread that connects us to every living being on this planet. From the moment we're born until our final exhale, breathing sustains us. It's constant, automatic, and ever-present. Yet, despite its simplicity, the breath holds immense power. When we bring conscious awareness to it, we unlock a gateway to calm, clarity, and presence. This chapter is dedicated to exploring mindful breathing, a foundational practice in mindfulness and meditation that can transform your daily life. Mindful breathing isn't just about taking deep breaths. It's about using your breath as an anchor to the present moment. In a world filled with distractions, stresses, and endless demands, our minds often wander to worries about the future, regrets about the past, or judgments about the present. Mindful breathing helps us come back home, grounding us in the here and now. It's a tool you can use anytime, anywhere, whether you're sitting quietly in meditation, navigating a stressful situation, or simply pausing to reset during a busy day. Let's begin by understanding why mindful breathing works so effectively. The breath is closely linked to the autonomic nervous system, the part of your body that regulates involuntary functions like heart rate, digestion, and stress response. When you breathe deeply and slowly, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes relaxation and reduces anxiety. Conversely, shallow or rapid breathing triggers the sympathetic nervous system, preparing your body for fight or flight. By consciously controlling your breath, you can shift your physiological state, creating a sense of calm even in challenging moments. Now, let's dive deeper into how mindful breathing supports mental and emotional well-being. One of its most profound benefits is its ability to interrupt cycles of rumination and overthinking. Have you ever noticed how your mind spirals when you're stressed? You might replay conversations, worry about upcoming deadlines, or dwell on past mistakes. These thought loops not only drain your energy, but also amplify feelings of overwhelm. Mindful breathing interrupts this pattern by redirecting your attention to something tangible: the rise and fall of your chest, the sensation of air entering your nostrils, the rhythm of your inhales and exhales. Each time you return to your breath, you create space between yourself and your thoughts, allowing you to observe them without becoming consumed by them. Another powerful aspect of mindful breathing is its accessibility. Unlike other practices that require special equipment, training, or conditions, mindful breathing requires nothing more than your willingness to pay attention. Whether you're stuck in traffic, waiting in line, or lying awake at night, you can turn to your breath for comfort and stability. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, equipping you with a reliable tool for managing stress and cultivating inner peace. To guide you through this practice, let's explore some foundational principles and techniques. Principle 1. Focus on the sensation of breath. The first step in mindful breathing is to focus on the physical sensations associated with each breath. Notice how the air feels cool as it enters your nostrils and warm as it exits. Pay attention to the gentle expansion of your abdomen or chest as you inhale, followed by the subtle contraction as you exhale. If your mind wanders, and it will, that's perfectly normal. Simply acknowledge the distraction, then gently guide your attention back to your breath. Each return is an opportunity to strengthen your mindfulness muscle. Principle 2. Embrace imperfection. Many beginners feel discouraged when their minds wander repeatedly during mindful breathing. They think they're doing it wrong because they can't maintain perfect focus. But here's the truth. Mindfulness isn't about achieving a blank slate or suppressing thoughts. It's about noticing what arises, whether it's a thought, emotion, or sensation, and letting it pass without attachment. Every time you refocus on your breath, you're practicing patience and self-compassion. Progress isn't measured by how long you stay focused, but by how consistently you return to the present moment. Technique 1. Counting your breaths. A simple yet effective way to deepen your practice is by counting your breaths. Begin by inhaling deeply through your nose, counting silently to yourself. 1. As you exhale, count 2. Continue this pattern, counting up to 10, then starting over again at 1. If you lose track or get distracted, simply begin again at 1 without judgment. This technique provides structure while keeping your mind engaged. Technique 2. Box. Breathing box. Breathing, also known as square breathing, is a structured method that balances your nervous system and enhances focus. Here's how it works. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 4. Exhale gently through your mouth for a count of 4. Pause and hold your breath again for a count of 4. Repeat this cycle several times, visualizing each step forming the sides of a box. Box breathing is particularly helpful for reducing stress and improving concentration. Technique 3. Noticing the pause between breaths. Between each inhalation and exhalation lies a brief pause, a moment of stillness where the breath naturally rests. Often overlooked, this pause is rich with potential. By bringing awareness to it, you cultivate a deeper connection to the spaces within and around your thoughts. To practice, simply observe the transition from inhale to exhale and vice versa. Allow yourself to linger in these pauses, embracing their quiet simplicity. Now let's put these principles and techniques into action with a guided, mindful breathing exercise. Find a comfortable position, whether sitting upright in a chair, cross-legged on the floor, or lying down. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so, or soften your gaze. Take a few natural breaths to settle into the moment. When you're ready, begin to deepen your breathing slightly. Inhale slowly through your nose, feeling your lungs fill with fresh air. Imagine drawing in calmness and clarity with each breath. Hold the inhalation briefly, then exhale smoothly through your mouth, releasing tension and unease. With each exhale, imagine letting go of anything that no longer serves you: stress, frustration, doubt. Now, shift your attention to the sensation of your breath moving in and out of your body. Notice the rise and fall of your chest or abdomen. Feel the coolness of the air as it enters your nostrils and the warmth as it leaves. If your mind begins to wander, gently guide it back to the rhythm of your breath. There's no need to control or manipulate it. Simply observe its natural flow. Let's try incorporating counting into this practice. Inhale deeply through your nose, counting silently. 1. Exhale fully through your mouth, counting 2. Continue this pattern, counting up to 10, then returning to 1. If you lose count or become distracted, don't worry, just start over at 1. Stay with this practice for several minutes, allowing your breath to anchor you in the present moment. As you continue, notice how your body responds to this intentional focus on your breath. Perhaps you feel lighter, calmer, or more centered. Maybe areas of tension begin to release, or your thoughts grow quieter. Whatever arises, meet it with curiosity and kindness. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to experience mindful breathing. It's simply an invitation to be fully present with yourself. Beyond formal exercises like this, mindful breathing can be woven seamlessly into your daily routine. For example, you might take 3 conscious breaths before starting a task, pausing to ground yourself before responding to a difficult email, or using your breath to steady your nerves during a challenging conversation. Over time, these small moments add up, fostering greater awareness and resilience. It's also worth noting that mindful breathing complements other practices we've explored in earlier chapters. When combined with acceptance, it helps you meet discomfort with grace. Paired with self-compassion, it nurtures a kinder relationship with yourself. And when integrated with letting go, it supports the release of attachments and expectations. Together, these practices form a holistic framework for navigating life's challenges with wisdom and ease. Before we conclude this chapter, let's reflect on a teaching from Thich Nhat Hanh, a revered Zen master and advocate of mindfulness. Feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor. His words remind us that while emotions and thoughts are transient, the breath remains steadfast, a reliable companion amidst life's storms. By returning to it again and again, we cultivate a sanctuary of peace within ourselves. In the next chapter, we'll explore the joy of living fully in the present moment, how savoring small pleasures and practicing gratitude can enrich your daily life. Until then, take a moment to honor your breath. Breathe deeply. Trust that you carry this source of calm with you wherever you go. Chapter 6. Finding joy in the present moment. Joy isn't something we find out there, it's something we cultivate within ourselves. And one of the most powerful ways to access joy is by learning to live fully in the present moment. In a world obsessed with multitasking, planning ahead, and chasing future goals, it's easy to overlook the beauty and richness of what's right in front of us. Yet, when we slow down and pay attention, we discover that happiness isn't reserved for grand achievements or special occasions. It's hidden in plain sight in the taste of your morning coffee, the sound of laughter, the warmth of the sun on your skin. This chapter is all about embracing these small wonders and finding joy in the ordinary. Let's start by examining why living in the present moment matters so much. Our minds are often divided, partially focused on the task at hand, partially wandering into memories of the past or projections of the future. While reflecting on the past and preparing for the future have their place, spending too much time outside the present robs us of life itself. After all, the only moment we truly have is now. The past has already happened, the future hasn't arrived yet. All we ever experience unfolds in the here and now. But how do we shift from autopilot mode to fully engaging with the present? The key lies in mindfulness, the practice of paying deliberate attention to the details of our lives without judgment. Mindfulness invites us to notice the textures, sounds, smells, tastes, and sensations that make each moment unique. By doing so, we awaken to the extraordinary within the ordinary. Consider this analogy. Imagine walking through a lush garden. If you rush past the flowers, barely glancing at them, you'll miss their intricate patterns, vibrant colors, and delicate fragrances. But if you pause to admire each bloom, to really see it, you'll feel a sense of wonder and connection that stays with you long after you've left the garden. Life is like that garden. When we slow down and savor its details, we uncover layers of joy we might otherwise overlook. Now, let's explore some practical ways to bring more presence, and therefore more joy, into your daily life. Practice 1. Savoring small pleasures. Of the simplest ways to connect with the present moment is by savoring small pleasures. These could be anything: a warm cup of tea, the scent of fresh rain, the melody of a favorite song. The key is to engage all your senses and immerse yourself fully in the experience. For example, the next time you enjoy a meal, resist the urge to scroll through your phone or watch TV. Instead, focus on the flavors, textures, and aromas of your food. Chew slowly, noticing how each bite feels in your mouth. Take a moment to appreciate the effort that went into preparing the dish, the farmer who grew the ingredients, the chef who cooked it, or even yourself if you made it. By slowing down and savoring, you transform an everyday activity into a source of delight. To deepen this practice, try keeping a joy journal. At the end of each day, write down 3 moments that brought you happiness, no matter how small. They might include watching a sunset, laughing with a friend, or feeling the cool breeze against your face. Over time, this habit trains your brain to seek out and recognize moments of joy, reinforcing a positive mindset. Practice 2. Gratitude as a pathway to presence. Gratitude and mindfulness go hand in hand. When we express gratitude, we naturally shift our focus to the present moment and acknowledge the blessings around us. Research shows that practicing gratitude not only boosts happiness, but also improves relationships, enhances resilience, and reduces stress. There are countless ways to incorporate gratitude into your routine. One approach is to set aside a few minutes each morning or evening to reflect on what you're thankful for. You can do this silently, aloud, or in writing. Another option is to pair gratitude with mindful breathing. As you inhale, silently say to yourself, "I am grateful for," then as you exhale, complete the sentence with something specific. For instance, "the kindness of my neighbor," or "the strength in my body." This combination anchors you in the present while cultivating a sense of abundance. For a deeper exploration, consider creating a gratitude ritual. For example, Before meals, take a moment to thank everyone involved in bringing the food to your table, from the earth that nourished the crops to the hands that prepared the dish. Or at bedtime, mentally review your day and identify moments where you felt supported, loved, or inspired. These rituals remind us that life is interconnected and filled with gifts waiting to be noticed. Practice 3. Engaging fully in activities. Another way to find joy in the present moment is by giving your full attention to whatever you're doing. Whether it's washing dishes, walking in nature, or playing with a child, immerse yourself completely in the activity. Let go of distractions, put away your phone, silence notifications, and clear your mind of unrelated thoughts. Notice the sights, sounds, and sensations associated with the task. For instance, imagine washing dishes mindfully. Feel the temperature of the water, the texture of the soap bubbles, the weight of the plates in your hands. Listen to the rhythmic clinking of utensils and the soft splash of water. Rather than viewing this chore as tedious, reframe it as an opportunity to connect with the present moment. Similarly, when taking a walk, tune into the rhythm of your footsteps, the rustling of leaves and the play of light and shadow around you. Each step becomes a meditation, grounding you in the here and now. Practice 4. Embracing playfulness and curiosity. Children are masters of living in the present moment. They laugh freely, ask endless questions, and immerse themselves wholeheartedly in play. As adults, we often lose touch with this playful spirit, bogged down by responsibilities and routines. Reclaiming a sense of curiosity and light-heartedness can reignite our capacity for joy. To tap into this mindset, try approaching familiar tasks with fresh eyes. For example, if you're cooking dinner, experiment with new ingredients or techniques. If you're gardening, marvel at the intricacies of a flower petal or the way soil crumbles between your fingers. Even mundane activities like folding laundry can become opportunities for creativity. Perhaps you arrange clothes by color or fold them in unusual shapes. By infusing everyday actions with playfulness, you rediscover the magic in the ordinary. Practice 5. Practicing loving kindness toward yourself and others. Loving kindness, metta meditation, is another powerful tool for connecting with the present moment and fostering joy. This practice involves directing well wishes toward yourself and others, cultivating feelings of goodwill and compassion. To begin, find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Then silently repeat phrases such as, "May I be happy," "May I be healthy," "May I live with ease." After directing these wishes inward, expand your intentions outward. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. You can direct these wishes to specific individuals, friends, family members, colleagues, or send them universally to all beings. This practice reminds us of our shared humanity and fills us with a sense of connection and purpose. Overcoming obstacles to presence. Of course, staying present isn't always easy. Distractions abound, and our minds are wired to wander. When you notice your attention drifting, don't judge yourself. Simply acknowledge the distraction and gently guide your focus back to the present. Remember, mindfulness is a skill that develops over time. Each time you return to the now, you strengthen your ability to stay grounded. It's also important to recognize that joy doesn't mean ignoring pain or hardship. Life is complex, and difficult emotions are part of the human experience. However, by cultivating presence, we learn to hold space for both joy and sorrow simultaneously. We understand that happiness isn't dependent on external circumstances. It's a choice we make to engage fully with life, regardless of what's happening around us. Before we conclude this chapter, let's reflect on a teaching from Pema Chodron, a renowned Buddhist teacher. The magic of life happens in the cracks. What she means is that true joy often arises not in spite of challenges, but because of them. When we embrace the full spectrum of human experience, with all its highs and lows, we open ourselves to moments of profound beauty and connection. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to deal with difficult emotions using mindfulness and self-compassion. Until then, take a moment to pause and soak in the present. Breathe deeply. Trust that joy is always available to you, waiting to be discovered in the smallest details of your day. Chapter 7. Dealing with difficult emotions. Emotions are the language of the soul. They tell us what matters most to us, what we love, fear, desire, or need. Yet, when emotions become overwhelming, especially difficult ones like anger, sadness, guilt, or fear, they can feel like unwelcome intruders in our lives. We may try to push them away, ignore them, or numb ourselves with distractions. But here's the truth. Avoiding difficult emotions doesn't make them disappear. It only prolongs their impact, keeping us stuck in cycles of discomfort and reactivity. In this chapter, we'll explore how mindfulness can help us navigate difficult emotions with grace and wisdom. Rather than seeing these feelings as enemies to be defeated, we'll learn to approach them as teachers, offering valuable insights about ourselves and our lives. By cultivating awareness, curiosity, and compassion, we can transform our relationship with challenging emotions, finding freedom and healing in the process. Let's begin by understanding why difficult emotions arise in the first place. Emotions are natural responses to our experiences. They're signals from our inner world, alerting us to something that requires attention. For example, anger might indicate a boundary being crossed. Sadness could point to a loss or unmet need. Fear often arises when we perceive danger or uncertainty. These emotions aren't inherently bad. They serve important evolutionary purposes, helping us survive and thrive. The problem arises when we resist them or let them spiral out of control. Mindfulness offers a middle path, a way to acknowledge and honor our emotions without becoming consumed by them. Instead of labeling feelings as good or bad, we observe them with curiosity, asking, what is this emotion trying to tell me? What needs my care right now? This shift in perspective empowers us to respond skillfully rather than react impulsively. Now, let's delve into some practical tools and techniques for working with difficult emotions. One widely used framework is the RAIN method, developed by psychologist and mindfulness teacher Tara Brach. RAIN stands for recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. Let's break it down step by step. Step 1. Recognize. The first step is to recognize what you're feeling. Often we move through life on autopilot, unaware of the emotions bubbling beneath the surface. When stress builds up or frustration flares, we might lash out without realizing why. Recognition interrupts this pattern by bringing conscious awareness to your emotional state. For instance, imagine you're having a heated argument with a loved one. Your heart races, your jaw clenches, and your words come out sharper than intended. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Am I angry, hurt, scared? Naming the emotion gives it form, making it easier to work with. Simply saying to yourself, I'm feeling angry, can reduce its intensity and create space for clarity. Step 2, allow once. You've recognized the emotion. The next step is to allow it to exist without judgment. This is where many people struggle. We tend to label certain emotions as unacceptable or weak, but suppressing feelings doesn't eliminate them. It just buries them deeper, where they fester and resurface later. Allowing means giving yourself permission to feel whatever arises, trusting that it's okay to be human. To practice allowing, try this visualization. Imagine your emotion as a guest knocking at the door of your home. Rather than slamming the door shut or yelling at the visitor to leave, invite it inside, offer it a seat, and listen quietly as it speaks. You don't have to agree with everything it says, you simply acknowledge its presence. This act of acceptance softens the edge of difficult emotions, making them more manageable. Step 3, investigate. After recognizing and allowing the emotion, the next step is to investigate it with curiosity. Ask yourself, where do I feel this emotion in my body? Does it have a texture, color, or shape? What thoughts or beliefs accompany it? By exploring these questions, you gain insight into the underlying causes of your feelings. For example, if you're feeling anxious, you might notice tightness in your chest or a fluttering sensation in your stomach. You might also identify specific thoughts fueling the anxiety, such as, "I'm not prepared," or "something terrible is going to happen." Investigation helps you untangle the web of sensations, thoughts, and stories that make up the emotion, revealing patterns that contribute to your distress. Step 4. Nurture. Finally, nurture yourself with kindness and care. Difficult emotions often carry messages about unmet needs for safety, connection, validation, or rest. Once you've investigated the root cause, ask yourself, what would comfort or support me right now? Maybe it's taking a few deep breaths, reaching out to a trusted friend, or engaging in a soothing activity like journaling or walking in nature. Nurturing isn't about fixing or erasing the emotion. It's about holding yourself gently during moments of pain. Silently repeat phrases like, "It's okay to feel this way. I am here for myself. This too shall pass." These affirmations reinforce a sense of safety and resilience, reminding you that you are capable of weathering the storm. Beyond the RAIN method, there are other mindfulness practices that can help you navigate difficult emotions. Let's explore a few of them. Practice 1. Body scan. Meditation. Our bodies hold on to emotions long after we think we've processed them. A body scan meditation helps release stored tension and brings awareness to areas affected by difficult feelings. To practice, find a comfortable position, lying down or sitting, and close your eyes. Starting at the top of your head, slowly move your attention through each part of your body, noticing any sensations you encounter. Are your shoulders tight? Is your jaw clenched? Do you feel heaviness in your chest? As you identify areas of discomfort, breathe into them, imagining warmth and relaxation spreading through those spaces. Practice 2. Journaling for emotional release writing provides a safe outlet for processing emotions. Try setting aside 10 minutes to write freely about whatever you're feeling without censoring or editing yourself. Don't worry about grammar or structure, just let the words flow. If you're unsure where to start, consider prompts like, "What am I feeling right now and why? What does this emotion want me to know? How can I show myself compassion in this moment?" Journaling not only helps clarify your thoughts, but also creates distance between you and your emotions, reducing their intensity. Practice 3. Reframing negative thoughts. Difficult emotions are often fueled by negative thought patterns, catastrophizing, self-criticism, or black and white thinking. Reframing involves challenging these automatic thoughts and replacing them with more balanced perspectives. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I always mess things up," pause and ask, "Is that really true? Can I think of times when I succeeded or handled challenges well?" Then reframe the thought, "I'm doing my best and mistakes are opportunities to learn." Over time, reframing rewires your brain, fostering greater optimism and resilience. Practice 4. Grounding techniques. When emotions feel overwhelming, grounding techniques can anchor you in the present moment. One effective method is the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. Identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. Engaging your senses pulls your attention away from spiraling thoughts and reconnects you with the tangible world around you. Compassionate self. Finally, remember the importance of speaking kindly to yourself during difficult times. Many of us are quick to criticize ourselves when we're struggling, compounding our pain. Instead, treat yourself as you would a dear friend who's hurting. Offer words of encouragement, understanding, and reassurance. For example, instead of saying, "Why can't I handle this better?" try, "This is hard and I'm doing the best I can under the circumstances." Compassionate self-talk fosters a supportive internal dialogue, helping you navigate challenges with greater ease. Before we conclude this chapter, let's reflect on a powerful teaching from Buddhism. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Pain refers to the raw experience of difficult emotions, the initial sting of rejection, the ache of loneliness, the grip of fear. Suffering, on the other hand, arises when we resist or cling to these experiences, amplifying their impact. By meeting our emotions with mindfulness and compassion, we break free from unnecessary suffering and open ourselves to growth and transformation. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to build resilience through adversity, drawing on the lessons we've learned so far. Until then, take a moment to honor your courage in facing difficult emotions. Breathe deeply. Trust that you possess the strength to navigate whatever comes your way. Chapter 8. Building resilience through adversity. Life is unpredictable. No matter how carefully we plan or how diligently we prepare, challenges will arise, some minor, others monumental. These moments test our limits, stretch our patience, and sometimes leave us feeling overwhelmed, yet within every challenge lies the seed of resilience, the ability to adapt, recover, and grow stronger in the face of difficulty. In this chapter, we'll explore how mindfulness, self-compassion, and the teachings of Buddhism can help us cultivate resilience, transforming adversity into a source of wisdom and empowerment. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's a skill that develops over time through practice and perspective. It's not about avoiding pain or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. Instead, resilience is about learning to navigate hardship with grace and purpose. It's about trusting that even in the darkest moments, there are lessons to be learned and strengths to be discovered. Let's start by understanding what resilience truly means. At its core, resilience is the capacity to bounce back from setbacks, to find balance after being knocked off course. But it's more than just recovery, it's also about growth. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as post-traumatic growth, the idea that adversity can lead to profound personal transformation. People who experience post-traumatic growth often report increased gratitude, deeper relationships, greater appreciation for life, and a stronger sense of purpose. Mindfulness plays a crucial role in fostering resilience. By staying present during difficult times, we prevent ourselves from getting lost in catastrophic thinking or dwelling on worst-case scenarios. Mindfulness teaches us to meet each moment as it comes, without judgment or resistance. This doesn't mean ignoring the reality of our struggles. It means acknowledging them while holding on to hope and possibility. Buddhism offers a particularly insightful lens for understanding resilience. One of its central teachings is the concept of impermanence, anicca. Everything changes. Painful emotions, challenging circumstances, even joyous moments, they all pass. Recognizing this truth allows us to approach adversity with a sense of trust. This too shall pass. When we embrace impermanence, we stop clinging to outcomes or fighting against what it is. We learn to flow with life's natural rhythms, finding strength in flexibility rather than rigidity. Now let's explore some practical strategies for building resilience using mindfulness, compassion, and timeless wisdom. Strategy 1. Shifting your perspective on adversity. One of the most powerful ways to build resilience is to shift how you view adversity. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles to overcome, try reframing them as opportunities for growth. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How might this make me stronger or wiser? For example, imagine losing your job, a situation that could easily trigger feelings of failure or fear. While it's natural to feel upset, you can also choose to see this as a chance to reassess your goals, develop new skills, or pursue passions you've neglected. Every difficulty carries hidden gifts if we're willing to look for them. To reinforce this mindset, consider keeping a resilience journal. Each day, write down one way you've grown or adapted in response to a challenge. Over time, this habit will train your brain to focus on solutions rather than problems, strengthening your ability to bounce back. Strategy 2. Practicing gratitude in hard times. Gratitude might seem counterintuitive during tough periods, but it's precisely when life feels heavy that gratitude becomes most transformative. Research shows that cultivating gratitude shifts our focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, fostering a sense of perspective and hope. Even in the midst of adversity, there are always things to be grateful for. The support of loved ones, the roof over your head, the simple fact that you're still breathing. To practice gratitude during hard times, set aside a few minutes each day to reflect on 3 things you appreciate, no matter how small. You might also pair gratitude with mindful breathing. As you inhale, silently say, "I am grateful for." Then, as you exhale, complete the sentence. For instance, "the kindness of my neighbor," or "the strength in my body." Strategy 3. Cultivating inner strength. Through meditation is a cornerstone of resilience building because it trains the mind to remain calm and focused under pressure. Regular meditation strengthens neural pathways associated with emotional regulation, self-awareness, and stress management, all critical components of resilience. If traditional seated meditation feels daunting, try shorter guided practices tailored to resilience. For instance, you might meditate on qualities like courage or perseverance, visualizing yourself facing challenges with confidence and clarity, or practice loving kindness meditation, directing well wishes toward yourself and others. Repeating phrases like, "May I be strong," or "May I find peace in uncertainty," reinforces a positive inner dialogue and nurtures resilience. Another powerful technique is visualization. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a stormy sea, waves crashing around you. Instead of panicking, imagine yourself grounded and steady, riding the waves with ease. Visualizations like this help rewire your subconscious mind, preparing you to face real-life challenges with greater composure. Strategy 4. Embracing vulnerability and connection. Resilience isn't built in isolation, it thrives on connection. Opening up to trusted friends, family members, or mentors creates a support system that helps carry you through tough times. Sharing your struggles reduces feelings of loneliness and reminds you that you're not alone. However, vulnerability can feel uncomfortable, especially in cultures that value stoicism or self-reliance. To overcome this barrier, remind yourself that asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. True resilience arises when we combine our own efforts with the love and encouragement of those around us. In addition to seeking support, offering it to others strengthens your own resilience. Acts of kindness, whether big or small, create a ripple effect of positivity, benefiting both giver and receiver. Volunteering, listening to a friend in need, or simply smiling at a stranger can boost your mood and reinforce your sense of purpose. Strategy 5. Developing a growth mindset. A growth mindset, the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning, is foundational to resilience. People with a growth mindset view failures as stepping stones to success, not as reflections of their worth. They understand that setbacks are temporary and that persistence leads to progress. To cultivate a growth mindset, pay attention to your self-talk. Replace fixed statements like, "I'm not good at this," with growth-oriented affirmations like, "I'm improving every day." Celebrate small victories along the way, recognizing that incremental progress adds up over time. Stories of resilience, lessons from real life. Sometimes hearing stories of others who have overcome adversity inspires us to tap into our own resilience. Consider Malala Yousafzai, who survived an assassination attempt and went on to become a global advocate for girls' education. Or Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor whose experiences in concentration camps led him to develop logotherapy, a form of psychotherapy centered on finding meaning in suffering. These individuals demonstrate that resilience isn't about avoiding hardship, it's about finding purpose and strength despite it. Closer to home, think about challenges you've faced in your own life. Perhaps you navigated a painful breakup, recovered from an illness, or rebuilt after a financial setback. Reflecting on these moments reminds you of your inherent capacity to endure and adapt. Overcoming common obstacles to resilience. Building resilience isn't always straightforward. Fear, doubt, and exhaustion can derail our efforts, making it tempting to give up. During these moments, remember the following principles. Progress isn't linear. Resilience ebbs and flows. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. Other days you'll struggle just to get out of bed. That's okay. What matters is showing up consistently, even in small ways. Easy, and setbacks are part of the process. Treat yourself with kindness, remembering that resilience is a journey, not a destination. Before we conclude this chapter, let's reflect on a teaching from Tibetan Buddhism. No mud, no lotus. Just as a lotus flower blooms from murky waters, beauty and growth emerge from difficulty. Without challenges, we wouldn't develop the strength, wisdom, and compassion that define us. In the next chapter, we'll explore how connecting with others through kindness and service can deepen our sense of fulfillment and belonging. Until then, take a moment to honor your resilience, breathe deeply, trust that you are capable of weathering any storm. Chapter 9. Connecting with others. Through kindness. Human beings are wired for connection. From the moment we're born, our survival depends on relationships. With caregivers who nurture us, communities that support us, and friendships that sustain us. Yet in today's fast-paced, hyper-connected world, many of us feel more isolated than ever. Social media may give the illusion of connection, but it often leaves us craving deeper, more meaningful interactions. The antidote? Kindness. A simple yet profound practice that bridges divides, fosters empathy, and strengthens bonds between individuals and communities. In this chapter, we'll explore how kindness, both toward others and ourselves, can transform not only our relationships but also our overall well-being. Drawing from mindfulness, Buddhism, and modern psychology, we'll uncover practical ways to cultivate kindness in daily life, creating ripples of positivity that extend far beyond ourselves. Let's begin by understanding why kindness matters so much. At its core, kindness is an act of generosity. It's about giving without expecting anything in return. Whether it's offering a listening ear, sharing a smile, or performing a small gesture of service, kindness reminds us of our shared humanity. It breaks down barriers, dissolves judgment, and creates spaces where trust and compassion can flourish. Research shows that practicing kindness has measurable benefits for both giver and receiver. For the recipient, kindness provides comfort, validation, and hope. For the giver, it activates regions of the brain associated with pleasure and reward, releasing feel-good chemicals like oxytocin and serotonin. Over time, regular acts of kindness reduce stress, boost happiness, and even improve physical health. But perhaps the most beautiful aspect of kindness is its contagious nature. When someone experiences kindness, they're more likely to pass it on, creating a ripple effect that touches countless lives. Now let's delve into some practical ways to integrate kindness into your daily routine. Practice 1. Start with self-kindness. Before extending kindness outward, it's essential to cultivate it inward. Many of us struggle to treat ourselves with the same care and compassion we offer others. We criticize our mistakes, dismiss our needs, and hold ourselves to impossibly high standards. But self-kindness lays the foundation for authentic connection. When we're kind to ourselves, we become more patient, empathetic, and present in our relationships. To practice self-kindness, start by noticing moments of self-criticism throughout your day. When you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts, pause and reframe them with gentleness. For example, instead of saying, "I'm such a failure," try, "I'm doing my best and that's enough." You might also incorporate affirmations like, "I deserve love and care. I am worthy exactly as I am. I forgive myself for being imperfect." Another powerful tool is mindful self-care. This doesn't mean indulging in luxuries. It means honoring your basic needs with intention. Drink water when you're thirsty. Rest when you're tired. Say no when you need boundaries. Each act of self-care reinforces your worthiness of kindness. Practice 2. Perform random acts of kindness. Of the simplest ways to spread kindness is through random acts of generosity. These don't have to be grand gestures. They can be small, thoughtful actions that brighten someone's day. Examples include leaving a kind note for a colleague or neighbor, paying for the coffee of the person behind you in line, holding the door open for a stranger, complimenting someone sincerely for their outfit, smile, or work ethic. What makes these acts special is their spontaneity and sincerity. They remind us that kindness doesn't require planning or resources. It simply requires paying attention to opportunities around us. To deepen this practice, set an intention each morning to perform one act of kindness before the day ends. Over time, this habit rewires your brain to notice and prioritize positivity. Practice 3. Practice active. Listening is one of the most overlooked forms of kindness. In a world dominated by distractions, truly hearing someone can feel revolutionary. Active listening involves giving your full attention to the speaker without interrupting or formulating responses in your head. Instead, focus on their words, tone, and body language. Reflect back what you hear to show understanding. It sounds like you're feeling frustrated because active listening communicates respect and validation, helping others feel seen and heard. It also strengthens your own empathy muscles, enabling you to connect more deeply with diverse perspectives. To practice active listening, commit to setting aside distractions during conversations. Put away your phone, maintain eye contact, and resist the urge to multitask. Practice 4. Volunteer your time and energy. Volunteering is a powerful way to channel kindness into action. Whether it's serving meals at a shelter, tutoring students, or cleaning up a local park, volunteering allows you to contribute to something larger than yourself. Beyond benefiting others, volunteering boosts your sense of purpose and belonging. Studies show that people who volunteer regularly report higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction. If traditional volunteering feels inaccessible due to time constraints, look for creative ways to serve your community. Organize a neighborhood cleanup, mentor a younger colleague, or bake cookies for a friend going through a tough time. Every effort counts, no matter how small. Practice 5. Cultivate gratitude toward others, gratitude and kindness. Go hand in hand. Expressing gratitude toward others not only uplifts them, but also deepens your appreciation for the interconnectedness of life. Take a few minutes each week to write thank you notes or simply send a text to people who've made a difference in your life. Be specific about what you're grateful for. Thank you for always believing in me, even when I doubted myself. You can also practice gratitude in real time by acknowledging others' efforts. For instance, thank a cashier for their hard work, praise a co-worker for their contribution to a project, or express admiration for a family member's resilience. These small acknowledgements create a culture of mutual respect and appreciation. The role of compassion in building connections. Compassion, the desire to alleviate suffering, is closely linked to kindness. While kindness focuses on spreading joy, compassion addresses pain and hardship. Together, they form a holistic approach to nurturing relationships and fostering harmony. Mindfulness enhances compassion by training us to recognize suffering, not just in others but also within ourselves, and respond with care. For example, imagine seeing a colleague struggling under a heavy workload. Instead of judging them or offering unsolicited advice, pause and ask, how can I help? What do they need right now? Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is simply sit with someone in their pain, offering presence rather than solutions. Loving kindness meditation. Metta is another effective tool for cultivating compassion. To practice, find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Then silently repeat phrases like, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you live with ease. Begin by directing these wishes toward yourself, then expand outward to loved ones, acquaintances, strangers, and even those with whom you have conflict. This practice softens your heart, making it easier to extend kindness to everyone you encounter. Overcoming barriers to kindness. Despite its many benefits, practicing kindness isn't always easy. Fear of rejection, burnout, or cynicism can stand in the way. Here are some strategies for overcoming these obstacles. Start small. If committing to large-scale acts of kindness feels overwhelming, begin with tiny gestures. Smile at a passerby, hold the elevator for someone, or leave a positive comment online. Momentum builds over time. Set boundaries. Being kind doesn't mean sacrificing your own well-being. Learn to say no when necessary, ensuring you have the energy to give generously when you choose to. Challenge cynicism. It's easy to dismiss kindness as naive or ineffective, especially in challenging times. Remind yourself that every act of kindness matters, regardless of whether you see immediate results. Trust that your efforts contribute to a collective shift toward positivity. Stories of kindness, inspiring. Change sometimes. Stories of kindness inspire us to take action in our own lives. Consider the story of Dolly Parton, whose Imagination Library mails free books to children across the globe, promoting literacy and imagination. Or the tale of a young boy who donated his piggy bank savings to help feed families during the pandemic. These examples demonstrate that kindness knows no bounds. It transcends age, status, and circumstance. Closer to home, reflect on moments when someone's kindness touched your life. Perhaps a stranger helped you carry groceries, a teacher encouraged you during a tough time, or a friend showed up unexpectedly when you needed support. These memories remind us of the profound impact kindness can have, creating a ripple effect of positivity. Finally, remember that kindness is cumulative. Each act, no matter how small, contributes to a larger wave of change. Imagine dropping a pebble into a still pond. The ripples extend far beyond the initial splash. Similarly, your kindness inspires others to pay it forward, creating a chain reaction of goodwill. Before we conclude this chapter, let's reflect on a teaching from the Dalai Lama. Be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. His words remind us that kindness isn't reserved for extraordinary circumstances. It's woven into the fabric of everyday life. By choosing kindness consistently, we create a world where compassion becomes the norm, not the exception. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to create a sustainable daily practice that integrates all the tools and teachings we've covered so far. Until then, take a moment to honor the power of kindness. Breathe deeply. Trust that every act of generosity enriches not only others' lives, but also your own. Chapter 10: Creating a Daily Practice. Throughout this journey together, we've explored timeless teachings from Buddhism, mindfulness practices, and tools for navigating life's challenges with grace and wisdom. Now, as we approach the final chapter, it's time to bring everything full circle by creating a sustainable daily practice that integrates these insights into your everyday life. A daily practice isn't about perfection or adding more tasks to your already busy schedule. It's about cultivating habits that nourish your mind, body, and spirit, helping you thrive amidst life's ups and downs. Let's begin by acknowledging why consistency matters so much. Growth doesn't happen overnight. It's built through small, intentional actions repeated over time. Think of your daily practice as planting seeds in a garden. Each moment of mindfulness, each act of kindness, each breath taken with awareness waters those seeds, allowing them to grow into something beautiful. Over time, these practices become second nature, shaping how you respond to stress, connect with others, and find joy in the present moment. But where do you start? How do you design a practice that feels manageable yet meaningful? Let's break it down step by step, exploring practical strategies tailored to fit your unique needs and lifestyle. Step 1. Start small. Less is more. One of the biggest mistakes people make when starting a new practice is trying to do too much at once. They commit to hours of meditation, rigorous journaling routines, or overly ambitious goals, only to feel overwhelmed and give up within days. Instead, adopt a minimalist mindset. Focus on 1 or 2 simple practices that resonate with you and expand gradually as they become habits. For instance, if mindful breathing appeals to you, dedicate just 5 minutes each day to sit quietly and observe your breath. If gratitude speaks to your heart, Spend 2 minutes jotting down 3 things you're thankful for. These tiny commitments may seem insignificant, but their cumulative impact can be transformative. Remember, progress is measured not by quantity, but by consistency. To reinforce this approach, consider using micro-habits, tiny actions that require minimal effort but build momentum over time. For example, instead of committing to meditate for 20 minutes, start with take 3 deep breaths before bed. Once that becomes automatic, you can increase the duration or add additional layers to your routine. Step 2. Anchor practices to existing routines. Another key to building a sustainable practice is attaching new habits to existing ones. This technique leverages what psychologists call habit stacking, making it easier to integrate mindfulness and self-care into your day without disrupting your flow. Here are some examples. Pair mindful breathing with brushing your teeth in the morning. As you stand in front of the mirror, take slow, deliberate breaths, focusing on the sensation of air moving in and out of your body. Use mealtime as an opportunity to practice gratitude. Before eating, pause for a moment to silently acknowledge the effort involved in bringing the food to your plate, from farmers and cooks to delivery drivers and grocery clerks. Incorporate loving-kindness phrases into your commute. While walking, biking, or driving, silently repeat affirmations like, "May I be safe," or "May those around me be happy." By weaving mindfulness into activities you already do, you eliminate the need for extra time or energy, making it easier to stick with your practice long-term. Step 3. Create sacred spaces for reflection. Your environment plays a significant role in supporting or hindering your daily practice. Designating a specific space for mindfulness or meditation can help signal to your brain that it's time to slow down and tune in. This doesn't have to be elaborate. Even a quiet corner of your home with a cushion, candle, or plant can serve as a sanctuary. If physical space is limited, create a mental retreat instead. Visualize a calming scene, a serene forest, a peaceful beach, or a cozy library, and mentally transport yourself there whenever you need a moment of stillness. Over time, this visualization will evoke the same sense of tranquility as a physical space. Additionally, curate your digital environment to minimize distractions. Turn off unnecessary notifications, set boundaries around screen time, and designate tech-free zones during meals or bedtime. These small adjustments protect your attention and enhance your ability to stay present. Step 4. Embrace flexibility and adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and rigid routines often crumble under pressure. To ensure your practice remains sustainable, embrace flexibility and adaptability. On busy days, shorten your sessions or combine multiple practices into one activity. For example, while waiting in line at the store, you could practice mindful breathing and silently express gratitude for the items you're purchasing. It's also important to recognize that motivation waxes and wanes. Some mornings you'll wake up eager to meditate or write in your journal. Other days, you'll struggle to muster the energy. That's okay. When motivation falters, rely on discipline. Not because you feel inspired, but because you trust the process. Show up anyway, even if it's just for a minute. Every effort counts. Step 5. Track your progress. Without judgment, tracking your practice helps maintain accountability and provides a sense of accomplishment. However, avoid turning tracking into another source of stress or comparison. Instead of measuring success by how many minutes you meditated or pages you wrote, celebrate the fact that you showed up at all. Consider keeping a simple log either digitally or in a notebook where you record your daily efforts. For example, Monday, 5-minute mindful breathing, 3 gratitude reflections. Tuesday, walked mindfully for 10 minutes, sent a kind message to a friend. Wednesday, practice box breathing during a stressful meeting. Reviewing your log periodically reminds you of your commitment and highlights patterns or areas for growth. Just remember, the goal isn't to achieve flawlessness, it's to nurture a compassionate relationship with yourself and your practice. Step 6. Celebrate milestones and reflect on growth. As you build your daily practice, Take time to celebrate milestones, big and small. Completed a month of consistent meditation? Treat yourself to something special like a favorite meal or relaxing bath. Noticed improvements in your patience or resilience? Acknowledge your progress with pride. Reflection is equally important. Set aside a few moments each week to evaluate your journey. Ask yourself, what am I learning about myself through this practice? Which tools or techniques feel most supportive right now? Are there areas where I'd like to deepen my exploration? This reflective process ensures your practice evolves alongside your needs and aspirations, keeping it fresh and relevant. Step 7. Lean into community and shared accountability. While personal growth is deeply individual, it's also enriched by community. Sharing your journey with others creates a network of support, encouragement, and inspiration. Whether it's joining a meditation group, participating in online forums, or simply discussing your experiences with friends and family, connecting with like-minded individuals amplifies the benefits of your practice. You might also consider partnering with someone for mutual accountability. Having a buddy to check in with regularly, whether it's via text, phone calls, or coffee dates, keeps you motivated and accountable. Plus, celebrating successes together makes the journey even more rewarding. Step 8. Stay grounded in purpose and intention. Finally, anchor your daily practice in purpose and intention. Why are you doing this work? What values or aspirations drive your commitment to mindfulness, compassion, and resilience? Revisiting your why reminds you of the deeper meaning behind your efforts, fueling your motivation during challenging times. To clarify your intentions, try writing a heartfelt letter to your future self. In it, describe the person you hope to become through this practice, the qualities you wish to embody, the relationships you aim to nurture, and the impact you want to have on the world. Keep this letter somewhere safe, revisiting it whenever you need a boost of inspiration. Before we conclude this chapter and our journey together, let's reflect on a teaching from Thich Nhat Hanh. Every step we take should bring us back to the present moment. Each breath, each act of kindness, each moment of mindfulness anchors us in the here and now, reminding us that peace and fulfillment aren't destinations, they're paths we walk every single day. In the final closing of this video, we'll tie everything together and leave you with a message of hope and encouragement. Until then, breathe deeply. Trust that you have everything you need to create a practice that supports your growth and well-being. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to take a moment to honor the journey you've embarked upon today. Whether you're new to these ideas or revisiting them with fresh eyes, know that every step you've taken toward understanding yourself and embracing life's challenges is worthy of celebration. Growth doesn't happen overnight, unfolds gradually like petals opening to greet the sun. And while the road ahead may still hold twists and turns, you now carry tools and insights that will guide you through even the darkest nights. Let's pause for a moment to reflect on what we've explored together. We began by acknowledging suffering as part of life, learning to see it not as an enemy but as a teacher. We discovered the power of acceptance, how letting go of resistance opens us to freedom and flow. We practice cultivating compassion, both for ourselves and others, recognizing that kindness begins within. We explored the art of letting go, releasing attachments to outcomes and past hurts, so we could move forward with lightness. We turned to mindful breathing, grounding ourselves in the rhythm of the present moment whenever life feels overwhelming. We learned to find joy in the ordinary, savoring small pleasures and practicing gratitude for life's blessings. We faced difficult emotions with courage, using mindfulness and self-compassion to navigate pain with grace. We built resilience, transforming adversity into opportunities for growth and strength. We connected with others through kindness, fostering empathy and creating ripples of positivity that extend far beyond ourselves. Finally, we designed a daily practice weaving these teachings into habits that sustain us over time. Each of these chapters has been a stepping stone, a reminder that no matter where you are right now, you have the capacity to grow, heal, and thrive. Remember, this isn't about achieving perfection. It's about showing up consistently, even in small ways. Every breath you take, mindfully, every act of kindness you offer, every challenge you meet with compassion strengthens your ability to live fully and authentically. As you step back into your day or perhaps prepare for rest, I encourage you to carry this spirit of mindfulness with you. When life feels chaotic, pause and breathe. When emotions arise, meet them with curiosity rather than judgment. When challenges come knocking, trust that they carry lessons meant to shape you into someone stronger and wiser. Before we part ways, let me leave you with one final teaching from Buddhism. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. These words remind us that our well-being matters, not just for ourselves, but for everyone whose lives we touch. By nurturing our own hearts, we create space to uplift others, contributing to a world rooted in compassion and connection. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found value in this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who might benefit. Your support helps spread these teachings to more people seeking peace and understanding. And if you're looking for additional resources or guided practices, be sure to check out other videos on the Mindful Zone. Until next time, may you walk gently through the world, meeting each moment with openness and grace. May you find beauty in the ordinary and strength in the difficult. And above all, may you remember that you are never alone on this path. We're all walking it together, hand in hand. Namaste.